Hello and welcome to another Transformers Tuesday. I'm your host, Played With, and today we're going to get into Deluxe Class Decepticon Airwave. He's the only bot who's going to have a picture of his alt mode as his box art. Here on the back of the box we've got his robot mode, the components, his airport mode, and his aircraft carrier mode, which why they added hot rods to an aircraft carrier I don't know, but whatever. Anyway, he is a really terrific figure. Tons and tons of molded details. He has more slotted components than any other figure that we've gotten so far for the Earthrise or Siege classes. And basically, he's built as a go-between for the city modes and for the robots, Micromasters, to be able to have extra play sets that they can adapt to. Originally, it was designed as a play set that transformed for a couple of the Micromasters from G1, G2 era. But what we've got with this guy is that he is the chunkiest boy of any of the weaponizers. Here we have another figure that we can compare him to, and you can see he's just a behemoth by comparison. I mean, there's more of him than any other weaponizer that we've gotten so far, and he's got so many possible modes that they don't even include the weaponizer in the instructions for the box. He's already got 3 modes out of the box. One is the airport, one is the aircraft carrier, and one is the robot mode. But as a weaponizer, there is an alternate 4th mode and an alternate 5th and 6th modes. Basically, he's a very wild, as your imagination goes, kind of transformer, and I really love that. And the fact that he's bigger and has more options than any of the other weaponizers that we've gotten so far, including Ironworks. I mean, Ironworks I was really smoked with because of all the possibilities that he had. This one has even more. So let's get into it. The first extra mode that I've noticed is that you can take his weapons off. They're just these little missile cannons, and he's got a little control tower. When you put it on, it basically looks like an aircraft, or I guess airport control tower. But that whole thing just pops right off. It just slides right out. And what we do is we take his central section and lift it up, take the top of the control tower, take his legs, pop those up, put these guys on, and then go ahead and pop it back down. And he looks kind of like a machine man of sorts from Marvel's comics. Or maybe like, who was that? Inspector Gadget. Yeah, definitely has that kind of mode. He towers above the other figures at this point, and it's kind of fun to see him in this mode. I can't even fathom that I came up with this, but it's just a way to squeeze a little bit of extra fun out of him when you're mocking him up with the other figures. Now, I'm going to go into his aircraft carrier mode, and basically with his legs, you want to flip his ankle rockers all the way down, fold his leg sections out, and you can see there's a ton of molded detail down there, including more ports to snap things to. When you fold up his legs, the bottom 5mm port of the treads, these little tank treads on the sides, folds down over onto this thing. And that's really important because otherwise the transformation just doesn't work. But you just want to be careful with it. It can take a lot of beating, but at the same time, you just don't want to run into any issues where you may stress some of the joints. Now, what I've done here is I've taken his waist and rotated this around, and it has large, I'm just winding up with too many pieces in my hands, which is a common problem with this guy. But his waist rotates up, and then the slotted tabs on the side pop in here. And that's the way he hangs out for both sections that require the treads. And these go underneath and pop in here. So for both of those, you've got the little sections, and it'll just place right in to create that. And what we do with that then is we take his head section, the shoulders. The head rotates around, and there's a 5mm port on the back of the head, which is great. It tucks down, 2 5mm ports there, one for the arms on each side. Then we also have an additional one that folds out here if you want it. And then he also has 3 more on the bottoms, plus tabs to lock things in. It's a wonder that this guy has this many options when so many other bots don't. Anyway, so we take this, and what we want to do is we take the chest section and put it to the ankle sections where these little tabs line up right here. That's what we're looking for. So these are going to aim outwards. And from there, we want to take the guns, remake the towers, stick them on top, get both of those. And you can stick guns on the sides, but frankly, it doesn't really matter at this point. The instructions say to take the control tower and put it directly in, and then to take the 2 guns and put them on the sides over here. But I feel like that obfuscates the guns. It doesn't really give much in the way of show. For his arms, we want to take this section. This just tabs down here and clicks together. And that leaves us with these 2 sections that connect. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to plug those directly in here. Now, that's going to hold together because it can't rotate any further down at this point. And then from here, we're going to take his other arm. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to rotate it around until these 2 tabs are on the same side. What that's going to do is it's going to tab in here in just a second to this middle section. So this floppy section that happens right here, rotate that up. Look on the back side. You're going to take his 2 5mm ports and you're going to place them directly here. And then these tabs are going to go into the back of the treads. So there's that. And there you have it. That's his entire fleet mode, his aircraft carrier. And if you have some MicroMasters, they fit on either side pretty easily. It's a pretty good looking way to have it set up. With the jets, they may be a little bit wide to have 2 next to each other, but you can see that there's 5mm ports all over this thing for him to be able to hold on to stuff. There's extra ones on the bottom side. I mean, it's just an abundance of options. And I recently was able to get my hands on the War For Cybertron Trilogy box set with Optimus Prime and the new Earthrise mode, and it came with this guy. And it's kind of neat that you can do this, but you can basically just set him up on the top and have him be a little added support for the jets or for, you know, whatever it wants to be. It even holds a little bit straight because it's tight enough, which is pretty nice. But as just an added ramp, it's pretty neat. The options to be able to add this to city modes are almost endless. I mean, it's probably only like 17 options, but you know, when you've got that many, it feels like it's almost endless. Anyway, we're going to take these guys back off and we're going to go for the next mode. Now the next mode is the airport mode. So we're going to take this guy off and we're basically going to deconstruct this thing yet again because it has to work out horizontally what this does vertically. So we're going to take this and pop this guy off. And then essentially what it comes down to is it's the 2 leg sections side by side. We want to roll the ankles down. Forgot to do that. And this is what you're looking for back here is the 2 5mm ports set up over here that then plug back into the waist yet again. And compared to Ironworks, the engineering on this is much, much more, I guess, optional. There's a lot of diversity to it, and I really appreciate that. Now the arms themselves, we want to set these up so that they connect pretty well, but the tabs make it a little bit difficult to arrange. Now let's see here. We've got this guy, and we reverse the body upside down and place it in to the hips again. But basically we're getting there. And then this arm, it's a little bit difficult to do, but basically what I like to do is I like to rotate it around and aim it up, and it plugs into one of the bottoms here. And then I'll take the gun and put it in the top, so that it looks somewhat like this. Now this can pop in there, and on the underside I'll show you what's going on. So this arms tab here pops into this guy like it does in the aircraft mode, but the difference is that when we do this, it's only going to plug into one, and that'll keep it kind of in place, which is kind of nice. And then we've got the arm sticking up here, which we rotate around and then put this on like it's some sort of radar tower or something. The feet come across. They're connected here, but they're a little bit loose, so you need to just make sure that you don't fiddle with them too much. Just put them in and try not to give them too much sideways pressure. And then we come down here. There's nothing supporting this section, but the arm attaches here. And the reason why we do that is because it gives us a nice little blast pad at the end of the runway. So that's it. That's his whole mode. And if you want to add more to it, you can rotate this up and add more stuff on top of that. But it's a great looking airport. I mean, this thing's long. It is easily 9 inches, if not 10 inches. And I'm gonna just say, for an alt mode off of a deluxe class that goes into a city mode, not once but twice, this is awesome. And the fact that there's still one more port over here and 2 more ports right here basically goes to say that if you're going to put this on Omega Supreme or Scorponok, you're going to want every single version of this. I know I made a video last week about Elita 1 and RC and how just getting 2 of those was too much. Every single one of these is going to be in your collection. You're going to want to own every single one of these if you're going for city mode stuff. It's an excellent figure. The possibilities to add one more to itself make it so that if you're looking for army building, this is also really excellent for that. Basically, you can stack his torsos on top of each other, on top of each other, on top of each other, because everything lines up. And with the legs and the interchangeability of all the different pieces, I mean, it's a great figure. I highly recommend this if you're looking for good play satisfaction, or if you're looking for something to help with your city building scapes. Not so much on the side of posability. You know, it's just a really standard figure for that kind of stuff. But overall, he's just a really, really excellent tank. The weaponizer stuff, I'm going to leave that up to you guys to figure out. But basically, I've had a lot of fun designing him out. You can see here he's kind of flopping around. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. And if you get your chance to get your hands on this guy, I'd really love to know what you guys think. Anyway, that's it for today's review of Airwave. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next time.